Alright guys, we're going to move on to our last progression, which is probably one of the most difficult, and it's chest to bar pull-ups, okay? So we're going to take you through the last three, and they're going to be strict chest to bar, kipping chest to bar, and then a butterfly chest to bar. However, if you remember back when I first was talking about pull-ups and all the progressions, I was saying pull to the highest point. Remember, don't only practice and pull to a standard, which would be just your chin. Always think about pulling up and through. That is going to translate better to chest to bar pull-ups, and later on down the road when we talk about muscle ups, okay? So it's very important you don't just train to a standard of only the chin over the bar. So the first one will be a strict pull-up that Dustin is going to show for us. We got the tight core, feet together, and he's going to pick that spot on the wall, and as he goes, he's just going to pull up and touch the chest. Doesn't really necessarily matter where on the chest it touches. It can be the collarbone, that's fine. We just want to get the bar to the chest. The next one will be a kipping chest to bar. So all this really requires is, again, that C's in the D motion, and then it's going to be a little bit more of a pull to make sure he gets that chest to touch. So here he goes. He's got the tight core, and then he pulls in, touches the chest, and then pushes off at the top. He's going to turn this into butterflies next. Butterfly creates a little bit more of an arcing motion, which could hyperextend the back a little bit, so you want to make sure we're keeping that core tight and then feet together, and Dustin will demonstrate this. All right, thank you, Dustin. All right, so as we talk through all these progressions, they're very difficult as they progress up the line. Coach Dustin and I were talking about this, and you gotta remember that the butterfly pull-up is equivalent almost to like a heavy snatch. You mess up one little thing in that progression or in that movement, it's going to make it kind of throw you off and you can't recover from it. It would be the same with a heavy snatch. Whereas like a kipping or other movements, you can kind of recover from, a fault. If you're tired, you can just pull a little harder, things like that. So the butterfly pull-up is definitely something you want to work at and make sure that your skills are spot on there and you have the same movement all the time. So tight core, feet together. Remember, the movement comes from the hip and then a little bit of the shoulders. All right, so moving on from our butterflies and our skill portion, we're gonna get to the most, like the highest pull-up you can ever think of, and obviously would be the bar muscle up. So I have Dustin here who's going to demo this movement. It's going to require some skill in the kipping motion, so you gotta have that down, and you also have to have your peak pull down, okay? So generally what we say is you should be able to pull the bar, and it should be kind of by your belly button or the lower part of your rib cage. That's how you know that you're pulling high enough to be able to get up and around this bar. There are several different variations that you can do on a bar muscle up, but we like to just kind of have it where you use your C's and D's, and you're going to think about being a little bit more aggressive in that C's and those D's, or the hyper and the hollow, than just a normal pull-up, because you really need to generate some momentum. And you want to think about almost like just getting up and around the bar and then a full lockout with the arms. So Dustin's going to jump up here and kind of show us. He's going to do a couple C's and D's, same thing as his pull-ups, right? Then he comes up and he locks fully out at the top. Okay, so he used a little bit, you can come down, Dustin. He used a little bit more of an aggressive hip thrust, and his C's and D's, or his hyper and hollow, were way more aggressive than typical on just the normal pull-up. You saw him, he pulled up to the belly button, and then he was able to get up and around. Dustin, do you have anything to add? Nothing? Okay, we covered all portions of it. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that this is also a skill and also a strength, okay? So you have to be very efficient in your kipping, and you have to have that shoulder strength and mobility to be able to open up a little bit more wider than you would on a normal, typical kipping pull-up. All right, so the next part I'll do is I'll just talk about things they can do to get to it. And I like the box jumps to test or to show to get up and around. No? You don't like those?
Great,